So somebody's foundation is upside down right now. Somebody's empire is upside down. There's been a bit of internal conflict in the king of the castle's emotional environment. So the Ten of Pentacles reversed is his kingdom, what he has built with his own finances, his own career efforts, his own vision, professional vision. And everything about him being this King of Cups, it has to do with like what he's created because it's meaningful to his heart. But on this King of Cups mind is a soulmate that he has in his thoughts. Like, see how like the soulmate's like hovering above his head in his thoughts area. And he's internally conflicted because as much as the King of Cups is known to be an emotional, well, it can be a water sign, astrologically Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. But the attributes of the King of Cups, beyond just being a water sign, is that as much as he is a deep feeler, he is also known to be sometimes controlling of his emotions because of how deep he feels. It can be unsettling to him. And what makes him feel then like his Ten of Pentacles is potentially like threatened by whatever's going on within him. So he's got a soulmate connection on his mind, and he's been having internal battles, conflicted feelings, thoughts versus emotions, stuff going on about this soulmate of his that was supposed to be connected to his Ten of Pentacles. But as it stands now, his empire is not, I'm hearing, fully functional, because he's finding that there's a really huge missing piece to the puzzle for him when it comes to what he considers a happy legacy. And so there is a lot for him that has to do with karma and reaping the rewards of physical effort, and how he's been operating in relationship to his karmic patterns, which I see are about controlling his emotional side in the name of empire. The way in which he's been operating has been dysfunctional for his emotional field because it's been so centered around pentacles and not the play aspect of inner child expression, emotional adventure. So there's like a war going on with him between his pentacles and his cups right now, his heart and his mind, his inner child and his professional life. So there's all of these dichotomies going on for him, and the way in which he's been, like I said, operating up until now has proven to be dysfunctional for him, I'm hearing, and like causing him to feel weighed down on ways that he doesn't express himself openly. He's not been able to move on past a karmic cycle, and this being the karmic loop around like commitment to expectations around career as a man, rather than enjoying his inner child and his mind, that being like secondary. So we're gonna flip these first. So the thing that's been missing from this King of Cups' life is his, like, how the inner child is, think about the child spirit, which is representing his soulmate, is the child, which it's not a man and a child. It's his own inner child and his soulmate that he's attracted to as a reflection of his inner child externally for him. So he's attracted to her because of her playful side and what it brings out in him naturally, instinctually. And that is like, you think about a child and you think about the child's like essence is like a fiery spirit. And so like what the soulmate for him activated was his passions, because quite a long time he's been functioning in more like robotic way in the name of the Ten of Pentacles, like building the career, and the 9 to 5 lifestyle or whatever the functional lifestyle was to like build in the physical world, but it's been like really under instigating and under stimulating his passions, his what really lights him up inside, which is like play, which is youthfulness, which is creativity, a big aspect of creativity here with this King of Wands, all this fire energy. It's been like stagnant for him. Possibly even libido energy being low because of that being something I see that's been kind of like understimulated for him is like a lack of passion, like a lack of like following his passions and joys. And he's having a hard time making like a judgment call between the orientation to the pentacles, just because he's a water sign and so emotionally oriented in his elements and his astro chart doesn't mean that he's like been born and raised that way, because I feel that he's been raised in an environment that has instigated a focus for him on his pentacles more so than his emotions as a partner or as a father, a provider, or leader. And so that has put him out of his element, which is like when he is allowed to embrace his inner child, his heart, what his heart really wants to do, it like leads him into a creative fire frenzy within his life, which is all good, like based on his true creativity, which is where he actually will write the 10 of Pentacles into upright, was like following his heart and having the courage to do so, to correct that 10 into an upright 10 of Pentacles through honoring his passions. Interesting that as we went to go correct the 10 of Pentacles, the card that was underneath was indicating for him to be strong in order to do that. It was going to require strength for him to correct that in the process. And so the 10 of Pentacles comes in when he starts learning to follow his passions, what really lights him up, rather than like the 9 to 5 protocol of success or whatever that career essence might be for him. If you notice, the Judgment card is like facing more so oriented towards the King of Wands and how it's like upright. It's like at a war between like the King of Cups and the King of Wands, and it's facing more towards the King of Wands. So it's like in this process, he's slowly like getting like more oriented and facing what lights him up and instigates his passions, rather than the empirical 9 to 5. Let's see what's hiding under the internal conflict around the soulmate energy. And these are his private thoughts of how, and it's also something that he's coming into deeper awareness around too. It might have been something that was hidden from him before and how he thought about the soulmate. But it's like coming to the realization that they actually work quite well together and they collaborate very well together when left to their own devices. I'm hearing left to their own devices, and how they're able to make a really beautiful team in the name of what he's always been felt like he had to do, was work on his pentacles. Together, him and that soulmate make the upright 3 of Pentacles, like a very like power couple in the name of their passions. So his partner might even be a fire sign or someone who's passionate in her own sense of self, being the fire king here. He might be attracted to a Queen of Wands, a fire queen, but that doesn't need to be astrologically specific. But yeah, they make a really good team, and see what might come as he embraces his feelings more, his passions more, and how that actually turns into money between them as a soulmate duo. Sounds exciting, guys.